Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, the Titans got embarrassed by the Eagles, but it was bigger than that on Sunday. All of the Titans' recent mistakes came home to roost. After that, we'll do a little tighten up, tighten down to talk about all the good and bad individual performances in this game, and there were quite a bit of both. So all of that and more on today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Titans fans, it was an all-time nightmare day on Sunday, and it's bigger than losing one game. Before we get into it, do want to let you guys know that today's show is presented by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on your entry. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKED ON. That's prizepicks.com, promo code LOCKED ON. Thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day, Monday through Friday. Free Tennessee Titans content on all platforms all year long. Make sure you subscribe on whatever channel or whatever service that you stream. I definitely do appreciate it. Throw a thumbs up on the video as well. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. But with that being said, guys, yeah, it was an embarrassing loss to the Eagles, but it's really bigger than that. I remember a line in The Waterboy where the Waterboy's mom, I believe, says, "Your chickens are going to come home to roost, Bobby Boucher." The chickens came home to roost for the Titans on Sunday. It is probably one of the worst days of John Robinson's professional career. Now, I know in the comments, this is just going to be a JRob hate fest. And I'll just say this before I even get started, guys. John Robinson's not being fired. Amy Adams-Strunk has complete trust in John Robinson. He has changed the team from a bottom-of-the-barrel franchise to a competitive team year in and year out that goes to the playoffs every time. From an ownership perspective, there's no way that Amy Adams-Strunk fires John Robinson. So you could say all you want, but that's not happening. The reality here is the Titans traded away A.J. Brown, and he embarrassed them on that field all game long. And the Titans had to watch it, had to breathe it in, lay in it, wrestle in it. Amy Adams-Strunk watched it. John Robinson watched it. Mike Vrabel, who was pissed on draft night when he was traded, had to sit there on the sideline and watch. I don't care what we talk about the package or where things can go. Right now, in the moment, that has to hurt. As the Eagles ascend and continue to be one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Titans have seemed to have come back to the pack. They're basically in the same spot now that they were in 2018. Maybe even 2017. So, with that in mind, you got that going on in front of you. Then, your offensive tackle position is a disaster with Dennis Daly. Even NPF, man, he's a rookie. He got whooped all day. The Eagles have one of the best fronts in the NFL, though. So, yeah, they're gonna beat up on the rookie. But having Dennis Daly at left tackle, John Robinson whiffed on Isaiah Wilson, guys. Dylan Radins was meant to be a tackle. He's not. Will he be a starter in the future? I think probably, but John Robinson tried to fix the tackle position, and he whiffed twice. And those whiffs came home to roost today as the tackles were turnstiles. Then, on the other side, all year long, your cornerbacks have been whooped in one-on-one situations. Well, the Titans were supposed to have Caleb Farley. And it's a huge miss. A first-round cornerback. It's probably a bust. Huge miss. And the cornerbacks, you got Trey Avery and Roger McCreary out there getting roasted. You know it would help, even when Christian Fulton got hurt? A first-round 6'2", 4'3" cornerback. It would help, but they don't have it. So, A.J. Brown, that trade, probably a terrible decision. I mean, I think there's still hope. But for this year, for this moment right now, the team is worse without A.J. Brown. Long term, it'll probably be all right. But hey, hard to argue that right now. So the A.J. Brown trade, drafting Caleb Farley, drafting Isaiah Wilson. Honestly, the trade for Julio Jones, giving away a second-round pick, and then having to cut him immediately. Rob, do you have any wide receiver depth potential? Because then you got to turn around and trade another pick for Robert Woods. Drafting Des Fitzpatrick over Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, the issues at wide receiver and cornerback and offensive tackle came home to roost. There's no way around it. And I think the Titans are a good team. We know they're not a great team now. And if you're John Robinson out there watching it, it's just your nightmare playing out in front of you. And it's unfortunate. I know it's Debbie Downer stuff, but that's the reality of what we saw out there. It all came home to roost in one of the most embarrassing defeats in recent memory for the Tennessee Titans. But we're going to keep diving into the game because there are some positives. I thought there were some players that played pretty well in this game, despite how ugly it was. Before we get into Tighten Up and Tighten Down, do want to tell you guys that today's episode is sponsored by Total Wine & More. This holiday, find what you love at Total Wine & More. With so many great bottles to choose from, it's easy to find a new favorite single barrel bourbon or the perfect gifts for everyone on your list, with some help from a friendly guide. And all with the confidence of knowing that you found something special for the lowest price. You'll love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Curbside pickup and delivery available in most areas. Visit TotalWine.com to learn more. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly. Be 21. Also, want to tell you guys about Simply Safe, my choice for home security. I'm not lying to you guys here. I love Simply Safe, and I use them at my home. Simply Safe pairs together two very important things. Number one, excellent Fast Protect technology, and then 24/7 professional monitoring agents. I love the outdoor and indoor cameras. I love the door sensors, the smoke detectors, the glass break sensors, the motion sensors, all of that stuff. And you can control all of it very easily from an app on your phone. Make sure that you don't miss the chance to save big on my favorite security system right now. They're giving you 40% off any new system at simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl. That's simply with an I, simplysafe.com/lockedonnfl. There is no safe like Simply Safe. Titans fans, let's continue today's game recap edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We just talked about the all-time disaster day that it was for John Robinson, and really, if you're a Titans fan, it really was tough to watch, no lie. But there was some good out there, and we're going to get into it in the first part of Tighten Up, Tighten Down. Before we do, I want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. Make sure you subscribe for free Monday through Friday Tennessee Titans content all year round on all platforms, including the Locked On Titans YouTube channel. Subscribe there, smash the notification bell, and throw a thumbs up on the video. It goes a long way to help and support the channel. But before we talk about the Titan Downs, I do want to do some talk about the positives. And in Tighten Ups, you got to start with Ryan Tannehill. Look, I will be as critical of Ryan Tannehill as anybody out there. No doubt about that. I thought Tannehill did his absolute best in this game. He was making throws early. He tied up the game with the throw to Treylon Burks in the end zone. Yeah, 14 for 22, 141 yards, one touchdown. Not the greatest day, but think about the pressure that Ryan Tannehill was under here. I mean, literally think about that. It's nuts that he was able to survive. And Mike Vrabel had him out there until the middle of the fourth quarter, it felt like. I mean, just unreal, the punishment that Ryan Tannehill took in this game and the fact that he was still standing in there and delivering. I mean, he was sacked 6 times. 6 times. So I give a Titan up to Ryan Tannehill out of the gate. He led the Titans in rushing with 34 yards on a bum ankle. I mean, Tannehill did his best out there. He really did. I'm also giving a Titan up to Treylon Burks. Had the 1 catch for 25 yards for a touchdown. He's so important to the Titans offense. I mean, once he went out, there was nothing left. That's where we're at right now. So, got to give a Titan up to Burks for making that play. Have to. Also, Austin Hooper didn't get a chance to really do what he does best because in a close game, you need him to move the chains. Not enough of that today. But when Hooper was targeted, I felt like he found a way to make a play. Had 3 catches for 22 yards. Not a bad day. Chig Okonkwo targeted 5 times, 4 catches, 68 yards, 17 yards a catch, had a 41-yarder again. They're getting him involved in the offense, and they got to do it even more. I mean, he's too explosive. He got to play slot wide receiver. I think that's a good option. And you can come out with 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and have Chig Okonkwo play some slot wide receiver, and that'll give the Titans a little more versatility on offense going forward. On defense, I thought Kevin Byard played all right in this game. Tie for the Titans lead, 7 tackles. Thought he tried his best. Trey Avery, yeah, he gave up some catches. No doubt. And he had the DPI on A.J. Brown. But you're asking an undrafted free agent to guard A.J. Brown. He had 7 tackles, had 2 pass breakups. I thought it was a pretty good day for Trey Avery out there. And to tell you the truth, that's all I have on defense. Maybe you want to put Bud Dupree in there because he got, one play into the backfield. Maybe that's what you want to do, but I don't think Bud Dupree was great in this game. So that's all I had on defense. Ryan Stonehouse, pretty solid day. I thought 7 punts, 400 yards, average 57 yards per punt. Put one inside the 20. The punt return coverage wasn't very good today, I thought. But Ryan Stonehouse, again, best punter in the league, man. Randy Bullock returns, hits both his kicks. Like to see him get back and feel good about himself there. And then I thought CJ Board, again, very solid as a returner. 3 kick returns for 62 yards, 4 punt returns for 42 yards. That's 10 yards a punt return. Had a 19-yarder. That was solid. I think CJ Board has been really solid for the Titans since he was brought on board. So that's what I like. The last thing that I wanted to mention here was Greg Olsen, the announcer for Fox who did the game. The Titans actually got like a big window in the number 1 team for Fox, so no wonder it was a major improvement in the broadcasting level. But I want to give a shout out to Greg Olsen because I thought he was professional. I thought he was smart. I thought he added to the game. And when the Titans get crappy broadcast crews like all season long, it stands out in a big way when you get a really good one. So good job for Greg Olsen there. So overall, look, I know it was tough. I know it was ugly, but I thought there was stuff to build on there. I know that, like I said before, the Titans aren't a great team. They're not a Super Bowl contender. We know that. But what they are is a good team that I think with the right matchup could still win a playoff game. I still think the Titans could win a playoff game if they get the right matchup. The Patriots, the Jets, the Ravens. I think even Miami, the Titans would stand a good chance. So I still think the Titans are who we thought they were, pretty much, unless you had way too high of expectations and thought this team, was a bona fide Super Bowl contender. We got high off the Green Bay loss or the Green Bay win, no doubt. And if the Titans play their absolute best football, perfect football, then yeah, they could probably beat anybody, even in the playoffs. But we just know that's not going to be the case from week to week. And you got to be able to win games when you don't play your absolute perfect best. And the Titans don't have that in them, is the problem, even when healthy. So a lot to like, but we also have to accept some realities as well. And with that comes Titan Down. And we are going to get into Titan Down. and go over some of the performances that stuck out. And we going to talk about more than just players as well. But before we do that, do want to let you guys know that today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy, guys. All you have to do is this. Prize Picks has a projection for every player. Derrick Henry, 100 rushing yards. Pat Mahomes, 300 passing yards. Justin Jefferson, 2 touchdown catches. You pick 2 to 5 players, you look at their projection, and you say whether that player is going to do more or less than that projection. If you get your 2 to 5 players right, you have a chance to win up to 10 times your money on your entry. And right now, if you download the Prize Picks app or go to prizepicks.com and sign up, use the promo code locked on, one word locked on, you're going to get a 100% instant deposit match if you're a first-time user. You deposit $100, you get a free $100. You deposit $50, you get a free $50. All you got to do is go to prizepicks.com or download the Prize Picks app. Use that promo code locked on at sign up. And again, you get an instant deposit match up to $100. Titans fans, we are going to cap off this game recap edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. It's been a rough one, no lie, an embarrassing loss to Philly, maybe the worst day of John Robinson's professional career, one of the worst days of my Titans fandom. Quite frankly, it was just an embarrassment, and a lot of things that we've been worried about or been frustrated by really came home to roost. But there were some good when we talked the Tighten Ups just now, but we're going to continue tighten down with those tighten downs. There were bad performances that must be discussed as well. Before we get into it, do want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. As for your second listen, check out Locked On Sports Today, from the biggest stories of the day to instant reactions to big game recaps and the take of the day. It's all available for you on the Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. Check out Locked On Sports Today. But getting into the tighten downs. Number one, you got to start with the cornerback group. Even before Christian Fulton got hurt, he was getting whooped, man. And look, Titans fans, there were some of you, I got to give credit to most of you guys for being honest about this and being logical, but some of you guys are freaking out about that A.J. Brown touchdown, saying it was offensive pass interference. Christian Fulton bit on double moves twice in a row. He bit on A.J. Brown on the double move on the sideline that got ruled incomplete. And then the very next play, he bit on an out and up again. Okay? That was illegal contact. You can't just sprint dead into the wide receiver's route and make contact with him. And yeah, A.J. Brown's a physical specimen. He pushed Fulton to the ground after the contact. He did that against San Francisco's cornerback on a critical third down last year. And all you guys were like, hey, that's physical football. But when Christian Fulton runs in his path and then he gets knocked over and gives up a touchdown, it's OPI? No, it's not. Anybody who's not a Titans fan, and even most Titans fans, knew that that wasn't OPI. It's illegal contact. It was called correctly. And Christian Fulton just bit on a double move. He was bad in this game. He didn't do great against T. Higgins. Christian Fulton is probably a number 2 cornerback. He's a good number 2 cornerback, but he's not a lockdown guy on the best in the league. That's just what we're learning this year. That's what we're figuring out. The Titans continue to put their cornerbacks on an island with Trey Avery and Roger McCreary. I thought Avery held up, but McCreary, man, he's just struggling as a rookie in the NFL. He's struggling to be a starting cornerback as a rookie in the NFL. He's playing on the outside. He's getting moved inside sometimes. Tough task for Roger McCreary against this wide receiver group, and he didn't have a great game. Dylan Cole is a special teams player, solid depth piece at linebacker, but when he's out there in space against some of the athletes that are in the NFL, it's just so obvious. Remember getting shook by Saquon Barkley in week 1. He got absolutely shook over the middle of the field in this game. Credit to Dylan Cole for maximizing his talent, but it's just tough to have Dylan Cole out there as an every down linebacker for the Titans, especially after David Long goes out. Dennis Daly, Aaron Brewer, Nicholas Petit-Frere. I mean, just a terrible day. And the Eagles have one of the best defensive lines and best defensive fronts in the entire NFL. They do. And it showed. It showed how bad, and the Titans' offensive line can survive against bad teams. But maybe they can't survive against good teams with good defensive fronts. And that's what we learned against Cincy, and that's what we learned against Philly. So just a complete tighten down from the offensive line. And then a tighten down for Robert Woods. 1 catch, 6 yards, targeted 5 times, had 1 catch for 6 yards and a drop. Robert Woods not getting it done. Not getting it done for the Titans. The last thing that I want to say here is, well, the refs, a complete tighten down for the refs. They were awful. Probably both teams feel like that right now. But the last thing is, again, a tighten down for John Robinson. I am, as you guys mostly know, a John Robinson defender. As I started the show saying, he's not getting fired. And he's put together a really solid team that's compete for years on end. But some of the mistakes that he's made have cost this team the end of their window. And the reason that the Titans are 7-5 and not a real contender for a Super Bowl is because John Robinson missed on a couple first-round picks and traded away A.J. Brown. And that's the truth. Now, can this team rebound after a little bit of a retooling? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. But that's the reality that we are faced with. So on this day, nothing else you can do than tighten down for John Robinson. But that is going to do it for me today. Guys, tomorrow we're going to come back, take a look at where the Titans are, what could be coming next, and we need to talk about this Mike Vrabel to Ohio State rumor as well. So that'll be on tomorrow's show. But that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.